The noise outside Parliament hit harder than any speech. "Traitor!" they screamed, a word once were reserved for enemies of the crown. Keir Starmer didn't stop. He didn't look back. In the last 6 months, 52,000 migrants have crossed the Channel. 4,000 elderly Britons, many in their 90s, waited over 12 hours for hospital care. And the veterans who built this country now live on less than $800 a month. That same morning, Prince William was with them. No cameras, no slogans. One man chased power, the other carried duty. The people aren't protesting, they're collecting debt. Across Britain's fading towns, shutters fall like verdicts. The Veterans Pub in Manchester closed when its power bill hit $1,200 a month. The men inside once fought for this flag. Now they fight to keep the lights on. Inside NHS England, 7.4 million people wait for treatment. 91,000 have waited over a year. Only 61% begin care within the target. There's wait on stretchers in corridors that smell of bleach and despair. Meanwhile, Downing Street signs another contract, £1 billion this year for migrant hotels. At every junction, the same betrayal repeats. Money for strangers, silence for patriots. When reporters asked the prince about it, he didn't answer. He looked away, not in dismissal, but disbelief. And somewhere between that silent, the shouts outside Parliament, a truth it became impossible to ignore. The silence after William's words didn't heal, it tore deeper. Within hours, new figures hit the headlines. The government had cut £2.3 billion from NHS budgets since spring, while spending $3 billion a year on migrant hotels. In veteran care, the crisis was surgical. 27,000 ex-service members still waiting for mental health support. Only 1 in 4 getting treatment on time. Pensioners weren't doing better. Inflation chewed through the state pension's value, and 43% admitted skipping meals or heat last winter. A report from the Office for Veterans Affairs revealed suicides among ex-military personnel up 18% since 2020, but Downing Street didn't mention it once. Britain snapped this week not with riots, but with recognition. Add on, Prince William visited a burned-down housing block in Sheffield. He didn't speak to the cameras. He picked up a child's melted toy from the ashes, looked at it for a moment, and walked in. The image spread within hours. Quiet, stark, devastating. Meanwhile, in London, Starmer faced another wave of outrage. A leaked audit showing $15 million in consultancy fees for migrant accommodation contracts. Nurses call it blood money. Veterans called it theft. By afternoon, protesters were outside Downing Street again. One man shouted, "We fought your wars, now fight for us." William's car passed nearby. A single nod to the crowd. No words. That was all it took. The next morning, the Telegraph ran the headline, "The Prince Who Listens." And somewhere in Thedistance, Britain began to remember what decency once sounded like. By Friday morning, the noise had spread beyond Westminster. It wasn't a protest anymore. It was a reckoning. From Leeds to Portsmouth, from Cardiff to Manchester, the same chant echoed, "Serve your own first." In central London, police counted over 240,000 people. Outside St. Thomas's Hospital, nurses and veterans stood shoulder to shoulder, holding a sign that read 800 for those who served, 170 a night for migrants. By noon, Westminster Bridge became a moving river of flags and grief. A former Royal Marine, Peter Lawson, told reporters, "We fought your wars. Now, we're fighting your bills." Police drones mapped the crowd stretching 3 miles down Whitehall. From the rooftops, Parliament looked surrounded, not by violence, but by conscience. Helicopters cut across the smoke as church bells rang from Lambeth to Southwark. Through the haze, one camera caught it. Prince William's convoy slowing near the square. He didn't wave, he didn't speak. But the moment his car passed, the chant softened, as if the country itself remembered what honorance felt like. By sunset, 60 million had watched the footage online. And for the first time in years, Britain's outrage carried something deeper than anger. It carried recognition. While Starmer spoke of balanced priorities, taxpayers watched billions vanish into what the press now calls the government of forgotten Britons. The betrayal wasn't abstract anymore. It was audited, documented, televised. Britain wasn't just angry, it was humiliated. And the question now echoed from every pub to every ward. How much more will the nation give before it finally takes back what's owed? He didn't need to speak. The image said, "Enough." A single photograph of Prince William walking through the veterans' ward at Royal Hospital, Chelsea, spread faster than any headline. No press, no entourage, no official agenda, just the quiet weight of presence. A soldier missing his leg from Vassar tried to salute. William stopped him, shook his hand instead. The photo froze everything the country had forgotten. Humility, dignity, service. Within hours, it flooded the nation. By evening, commentators called it the picture that restored Britain's conscience. Outside Parliament, candles flickered beneath Union Jacks, and someone projected the image across Big Ben. William's silhouette beside the words, "We remember." He hadn't spoken, but somehow his silence spoke for millions. And for one fragile night, Britain fell quiet again. Not in apathy, but in recognition. By Monday, that image had replaced every campaign poster. The Times called it the week Britain remembered. The Independent leaked a Treasury memo forecasting £15.3 billion for migrant housing by 2029, triple the promise. Sky News aired footage of a 94-year-old woman waiting 12 hours for an NHS bed. The next frame cut to William standing at Chelsea, not speaking, just standing by the veterans. It broke the country's heart. Within 24 hours, while they argue, trended past 80 million views. GB News called it a royal mirror held up to political decay. The Guardian wrote, "The silence of a prince says more than the words of a government." Even CNN and Leon featured the photo on their front pages. Polls flipped. Trust in the crown rose to 71%. Parliament fell below 30. One headline captured it best. William remembers, Starmer forgets. By midweek, Westminster sounded like a collapsing stage. Over 40 members of Parliament filed no confidence letters. 2 ministers resigned, citing moral conflict. Leaked emails showed Starmer's staff debating damage containment. Outside, the protest didn't stop, they settled in. Veterans guarded the square. Nurses handed out soup. And someone pinned that photograph of William to the gates with the words, "Leadership is service." Crowds sang, "God save the King," as Parliament lights dimmed behind the fog. Donations to veterans' charities exceeded £5.1 million in 7 days. Polls collapsed, Labour down 12 points. Trust down 30. Meanwhile, William appeared again, this time at a children's ward in Sheffield, laying a wreath for a nurse who died on shift. He didn't speak. Cameras caught only the quiet nod, the kind that said more than speeches. Britain wasn't just angry anymore. It was aligning itself around something purer: respect. On Sunday morning, Buckingham Palace broke its silence. 15 seconds. One message signed simply, "Where the measure of leadership," it read, "is compassion without condition." No mention of parties, no accusation, just truth. Newsrooms froze. 4 ministers canceled appearances. That evening, the BBC replayed William's visit to Chelsea, his hand on the veteran's shoulder fading to the palace crest. Public reaction was seismic. 78% said the prince had shown more moral leadership than the government. Across the nation, murals appeared. William bowing his head beside the words, "Service is sacred." In Glasgow, one banner hung from a church reed. He didn't campaign, he reminded. Analysts called it the quiet intervention that shook Westminster. Parliament's crisis meetings turned desperate. But for millions, the message had already landed. The future of Britain no longer belonged to slogans or spin. It belonged to those who still remembered what honor meant. Britain stands at a threshold between memory and forgetting, between power and principle. Veterans live on $800 a month while migrant hotels are paid in full. Patients wait 12 hours for care while Parliament debates statistics. Through it all, one man never raised his voice. Yet the nation heard him louder than its leaders. Prince William didn't take sides. He took responsibility. And in doing so, he reminded Britain what leadership once meant. History won't remember the slogans or the spin. It will remember who stood still when the country shook. Because silence, when used with purpose, can change a nation. Stay with us. Subscribe to Brit Alert News. Because while others hide the storm, we show it breaking. This isn't just politics anymore. This is Britain's reckoning.